You've got to work hard for your success, and you've got to have a steady presence. That's the secret, Kid Rock. Well, our hard work is 10 to 15 minutes, and our steady presence is each and every day. You can do this. Let's jump into the charts. Stocks pulling back just a little bit for the day, pretty much flat. We see 20-year U.S. government bonds, gold, and Bitcoin are up. Let's jump first into the S&P 500 as we see things moving into the second week of some up movement. Now let's look at what the high was last week. High was 568.38 last week. The high this week, 570.31. We did end the week lower at 564.34. Like I said, we pulled back just a little bit, 0.13%. We're still above the trend line on the 2-day, the half-day, and the weekly. Didn't hit average volume. In fact, we haven't had average volume to go all the way back to the 7th of April, the week beginning that Monday. We can look on the 2-day chart. It goes all the way back to the 9th of April, the 9th and 10th, that Wednesday and Thursday before we have average volume. So again, volume's not helping us out a lot, but the market is trying to tick up. We have reduced down from somewhere around 80% at the beginning of the week, end of last week, regarding up movement to around 60% right now. So things that we can backtest accuracy is 65% directional probability accuracy over the next 5 days. So again, a little better than a coin toss at that 60% bullish. Keep that in mind as we move into the next week if you're continuing to ride along on this latest upswing. Where are we on the NASDAQ 100? That is the tech stocks. They're going into their second week of up movement. Now, the prior high was 490.91, 492.70 throughout the course of this week. That was the high. As the markets ended on Friday, 487.97. We're at 55% bullish, so things have slowed down a lot as the week has worn on. Backtest accuracy only 60%, so really a coin toss as to whether it's going to continue to move up. If you are in the market, of course, you want to very carefully see what's going on as we start the week. And of course, if you did want to bet on that coin toss, then of course you would need to see strong green candles moving up, but nonetheless, over the course of the next 5+ days, that is where we are on stocks. 60% bullish on the S&P, 55% bullish on the NASDAQ. So that exuberance has slowed down. What about 20-year U.S. government bonds? They were about flat for the day, barely up at 0.15%. And again, it's hard to tell just what you're seeing there on the Heiken Ashi candlesticks. Do you guys know what Heiken Ashi candlesticks are all about? Why we use them? Very important to understand the calculations. At the end of today's show, I'm going to put the Heiken Ashi training at the end of today's video for you. It's one of the best things that we have done. It really gives you the mindset you need to understand them. Please take that over the course of the weekend. Maybe take notes when you listen to it. It's not very long, but it's very good. I'm very proud of it. I wrote it. I performed it. I think you will like it. And of course, you appreciate what we do here at Charting Wealth. Become a Patreon supporter. First thing you'll get, 2 things you'll get, is my new book, 3-Wave Trading Advantage. The only way to get it is to become a Patreon supporter at any of the 3 levels. And of course, the next thing you get is Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way, a 3-part series if you're interested in learning about how to trade options. So that is where we are on 20-year U.S. government bonds. As we look, we can see that it's trying to move down for the week. You've seen it doing it on the 2-day. You've seen it after moving down for many days, popped up on Wednesday, then trying to move back over toward the end of the week. Like I said, about flat on Friday. Where are we? Well, we're bearish at 70%. We were 65% bearish yesterday. That has increased a little bit. The back test accuracy, 75%. And we see about a $3.10 move before we hit some real resistance. So watch the market on Monday, see how things open up. Remember, If you don't know about puts, you can always trade Tango, Bravo, Foxtrot. That is the ProShares single short. It actually moves up when 20-year U.S. government bonds go down percentage for percentage. That's the way the inverse fund is set up. You want to practice trade that to see if you actually like doing those things. But the nice thing is when you see the market crashing, whether it's bonds, stocks, Bitcoin, gold, not so much because there's no real liquid inverse fund that I've found. DGZ is an inverse fund for gold, but the problem is it's not very liquid. So if you start seeing 20-year U.S. government bonds go down next week strongly and you want to jump in, then by all means consider Tango, Bravo, Foxtrot, TBF, the single inverse, and practice it. See how you like it. Gives you more options, shows a little bit of sophistication. But again, as we look at the week, not a lot of volume the last 4 weeks. And again, things do appear to be meandering down. So we'll keep an eye on bonds over the course of this next week. Now, gold. We've been bullish on gold. We've been bullish on gold. We've been bullish on gold. You know, gold turned around starting at the beginning of the year, went up great for but 2 weeks. That was the week between 24th of February, 3rd of March, where it slid sideways, 2 dojis, and then took off again. Did have a doji last week. The week beginning the 28th of April, since it's the end of a week, that could be confusing. But the week beginning the 28th of April, we did have gold sliding sideways, gave us a doji, and then trying to recover this week. We can see the prior high back on the week beginning the 21st of April. That was 317.63. This week, the high, 315.62. So we've not hit that high again. However, we continue to be bullish. Gold was up for the day, 0.73%. And of course, we've been calling the bullishness in gold for the last week plus. We're still at 80% bullishness over the next 5 days. See about $8.32 of potential movement. And nice to know that backtest accuracy based on prior similar movements, 85% backtest accuracy. So keep your eye on gold. If gold starts the week off with some nice green candles on the 195-minute chart and decent volume, then by all means, you might want to ride that pony in a practice trade. Remember, not a stock calling service. We're an education firm. We don't give market advice. We want you to practice trade with us, and then you can spend your own money however you want. You can take all your money, go to Vegas and gamble like a lot of people do in the stock market. That's not what we want you to learn. Let's jump lastly into Bitcoin. We are 65% bullish on Bitcoin. Over the next 5 days, see about $3 worth of movement, about 70% backtest accuracy. Bitcoin has hit a higher high this week, last week, and the week before. Hasn't hit the prior high of highs on Bitcoin, but it sure is moving up toward it. Latest 2-day candles, a nice big up candle. Nice movement over the last few days, particularly yesterday. And Bitcoin up, like I said today, 1.88%. Keep your eye on things, and we will hopefully continue to see Bitcoin punch, punch, punch. I love it as Bitcoin has turned around yet again and maybe is heading up toward those prior highs. Keep your eye on it. My friends, that is where we are as we end the day. Do not forget, I'm putting that special Heiken Ashi training at the end of today's video. See it pop up on the screen in just a moment. We always love to hear from you. cw@chartingwealth.com is the email address for your questions, problems, concerns. God bless. Have a great weekend, and let's have another great trading week next week.